Good morning. Welcome to Knit LA, or you've landed on Knit LA, which is the current name because I'm a knitter from Los Angeles and I really couldn't be bothered with coming up with a better name. Maybe I will at some point. Anyway, hello, welcome, and thank you for hanging out with me today. This is where I channel all of my love and obsession for knitting, for wool. I love to crochet also, but there's not that much of that here. Anyway, so if you're into all that, hang out because you're my people. So I'm filming again in my living room because we are having some work done in the backyard and it's super loud back there, and I'm just really hopeful that this will work out. Anyway, it's February, it was Valentine's Day. To those of you who have shown so much support for the new pattern, the party bow, in both your purchasing of the pattern, but also just your cheerleading. Thank you so much. It means so much to me, as this was kind of, you know, not something I aspired to do, but now that I've done it, I'm thinking and drawing all kinds of ideas. So there might be more, but it's really not easy pattern writing, I gotta say. Anyway, there's a lot of sample knitting, and to be able to do all the sample knitting, which that sort of means I need to slow down on my other knitting. We'll see. Anyway, mostly I just want to say thank you and express my gratitude for everyone's support. That's just pretty much everything. So yeah, February 14th, I debuted the beautiful pink Big Birdie, I think it was the color Taffy, from Lamb & Kid, and they have so generously, sent me yarn, and it's been so much fun to play with, as those were my first two items using Big Birdie, and I just cannot highly recommend it enough because it is so incredibly soft. It is so friendly to all the like papery, fragile skin around our necks, and yeah, it's gorgeous. So I love that yarn, and I hope to make more things with it. Speaking of yarn, and I know that I set this intention earlier this year, or at the end of last year, to kind of rein in the spending of new yarn and really work with the amazing stash that I do have. But I got a package the other day, and it was clearly yarn, squishy, big. And when I opened it, I realized I had placed this order many, many months ago. In fact, it might even have been 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Feels like forever. So much so that I kind of forgot about it. But I'd love to share it because when I opened the bag, it just took my breath away. This is from a dyer, hand-dyed in Douglas, Wyoming, and her company is called Knotty Pine Fibre Co. And I ordered some of the Bighorn DK, and this is the colorway, and it is just unreal how gorgeous it is. It's called Black Hawk is the colorway. It is really soft and squishy, and I got Black Hawk. Yeah, I got 3 of those to make something beautiful with. There's a lot of deep green in here, which I really, 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 really love. There's browns, and then there's even like these funny pops of red. Very forest. Very foresty. So 3 of these. I got another DK, also Bighorn DK in the colorway Charred Amber, which if you've been here for a while know that this is just my dear cup of tea yarn. This color, it has grays, it has greens, it has amber, it has lavender, brown. Here's the label, Knotty Pine Fibre Co. So I only got 2 of these. Maybe I was thinking about doing a project, a DK thing with these 2 combined. I'm not really sure. And then I also got 2 skeins of the Bighorn sock. And the Bighorn is superwash merino, 20% nylon, worsted spun, combed, 21.5 microns, and this is 400 yards per 100 grams. And this is in the colorway Wild Berry. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't have words. I don't have words. So I know she's a very small dyer, and I'm not even, she's likely on Instagram. I became aware of her many years ago. There was a sweater that I was making, and I actually ordered some of her mohair, hand-dyed mohair, which was actually completely stunning as well. So this is what I got for not buying any yarn. It's like all my besties in terms of color. So that was really beautiful, and I wanted to start with that just because it was just such a fun surprise. So unexpected, completely forgot about it, and I got all this luscious hand-dyed, and the artistry of that is just really sort of beyond me. I mean, I just have a great appreciation for all that goes into it. So thank you, Knotty Pine. I should say I'm wearing the Alyeska. This was my very first colorwork sweater. As you might be able to tell, it's a little snug. My tension is very strange. Let me sit up a teeny bit, but I do love it. And I made it with all kinds of stash yarn. Most of it, I know this is Qing Fibre in their dashing singles, the softest wool ever on the planet. Like I love this wool so much, and it's great because this is sort of the really sensitive spot. I used there's my funny green color. This is also, I believe, from Posh yarn. I think the rest of the yarn is Posh yarn. There's a little sneak of the Qing Fibre again, and down below, but all of the kind of army green and the turquoise are from Posh Yarns in Wales. And I will link everything below. I always say that, but I just want to say it again. It's noisy out there. Anyway, Alyeska. So many people have made this, and it's actually such a fun pattern, and it has a special place because it was my first sweater, but it's a little like tight and very short, and I think in those days I was a little smaller, and so I believe this is the size 1. It's very fitted. The arms are, you know, basically almost cutting off my circulation. But I still love it, and I love the colors, and it just felt right for today. So yeah, so so Alyeska. Oh, I have some finished objects, which I'm really excited to talk about. The first one is very cool that I've shown on here a few times, but I finally finished it, and that is the Artus or Artus Shawl. And here it is. I wore this, by the way, like all weekend. I was in the desert with some friends on an art retreat, and I mean, could there have been better colors for the desert? Big, huge boulders, bright blue sky, and pretty much nothing, or very pale colors. But it was so warm, and it was kind of perfect. And I'll tell you what, I was not that happy with the size of my shawl after I blocked it. I know it looks big here, but y'all know that I love to take a shawl and be able to completely wrap it around and have the big, beautiful part, like this corner, just fall nicely here. Now, I have to really fudge it to, my dog, get it to look like this. Hold on. Anyway, and I am just so bummed because it's not quite big enough, or as big as I thought it was gonna be. So I did not use the recommended yarn. The recommended yarn is sport weight. And I guess I just kind of thought sport weight and fingering weight are basically the same thing. But I think I happened to use a lot of fingering that was actually very thin fingering. The only place I used sort of a thicker yarn was the Berroco Mochi. That's that kind of apricot color that has all these fun little noops of color. So I don't know, I'm a little sad about it. I have to be honest. I don't know what happened there. I'm not a person that knits things twice. Mostly because I feel like if I do knit something twice, something like this, something very like specific pattern, if I knit it again, I'm gonna have a favorite and then I'm not gonna wear the other one. So I don't think I'm gonna make it again, even though I am madly in love with this shawl, madly in love with the design. The designer is Natasha Hornby from Moonstruck Knits. I've definitely been going through her Ravelry portfolio, and I am currently knitting the Mowry shawl for my mom, which is just ongoing. I love that pattern too. So maybe I'll make one of those for myself. I'm not sure, but it was just kind of a bummer to have that experience. And you know, it's not the first time. I had that same experience with the Pressed Flowers shawl, which I don't think I mentioned that, but it's not quite as big as I think it was meant to be. And I do believe that that's because I chose to use Spin Cycle Nocturne, which is basically a fingering weight, I think. Anyway, I've learned my lesson. Stick with the, also, okay, gauge. So I have never gauge swatched for a shawl in my life, but I started gauge swatching for a shawl yesterday. And I'll tell you why in a little bit, but I am now going to be gauge swatching for shawls, just to make sure that I get the bang for my buck. The buck being all the hours that went into making this. Anyway, but It's gorgeous. I love my colors. I no longer see Harry Potter. It's very soft. I used Anne Hanson's Bare Naked Wools for the charcoal gray color. Olann is like the funny acid green. The coffee colored one is from Loco. The peachy apricot is Berroco Mochi. Is that everyone? Oh, and the rust color, the rust, I think, is Farmer's Daughter Fibres. Yeah, pretty sure about that. Yes, Farmer's Daughter Fibre. Oh, and about that 7 needle bind off. What? Okay, I get it, because it is a really nice balance. It's a really nice balance to all the, you know, the gray up on the top. But wow, I mean, I had to do that over like 2.5 days, and my hands were like kind of hurting. And I also don't understand employing another DPN in order to work it out. Like, I just used the other needle. So that was a little strange. I don't know why it's easier. I'm not sure. But I did not use the DPN as suggested. Okay, another adorable finished object, which I can't even try on because I have this hairdo, but I am gonna take some photos today and post it on Instagram. But I made a little beret. Like, it is so cute. This is the Bisbis beret. It is a pattern by Sari Nordlund, and it is a top-down beret, and it is the most beautiful shape. I tried it on yesterday, and it fits so well. And the yarn I used, I think I have some of that yarn. This is a dark navy. It is not black. It is a dark navy. And let's see. I know I threw the yarn somewhere, but maybe not. Oh yeah, here it is. So I used a combination of fingering weight and mohair. And this is Stephen West's bicycle yarn. It's really nice. It's a really plump and squishy yarn. Oh no, I don't have the label. Whoops. Anyway, the bicycle yarn is really nice. What I didn't realize, I actually had originally purchased this for a sweater, and I didn't realize it was 50 gram skeins, so my bad. And I paired it with Purl Soho's Tussock in a very dark navy as well, bluey black. That's just, whoa, totally gorgeous and flying everywhere. Okay, I have to pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. It's garbage day. I mean, and I'm sitting by the fireplace, and so the truck is not even on my street, but I can hear it through the chimney. Anyway, I loved working with these two yarns. Tussock is a beautiful silk mohair from Purl Soho. It's very, it's soft. It is not scratchy, and they have a whole host of amazing colors. Yeah, and I just kind of loved working with these two together. And that is the Bisbis, which I think means kiss. Kiss, kiss. And it's cool. You start at the I-cord actually, and then look how beautiful the increases are. It's like this kind of pinwheel effect for the beret, and it's just light and soft, but it's structured enough with the decreases that it actually like stays on your head. And you can play around with how you want to style it. And it's got this just a tiny bit of fuzz. I'm trying to like get out of the way of the camera. I have no idea. You can see it, but anyway, so I finished this. This was something I took on my trip this past weekend to the desert, and it was a really easy thing to knit on. So those are my two finished objects. It's very exciting. And I'm also working, this is something I did also work on in the desert a little bit, not much, but I'm still plugging away at the Trinigan sweater. For those of you that haven't seen the Trinigan, it is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I think there's a photo in here. It is a beautiful like sweater jacket looking thing. It's very structured. Oh, do I have a, yeah, I do. Here it is. Try and show this. Hers is done in spin cycle. And then all those little spots are color shifting, which is great, which is totally her thing. It is not so much my thing. So I decided to use a really woolly wool, the Jacob's Fleece, and pair it with the Farmer's Daughter Fibres Old Man Coyote in the worsted weight, which is just a rad color. This is the West Yorkshire Spinners worsted weight Jacob's Fleece that I'm using for the main color. And it's a lot of knitting. So I'm doing the size, I can't remember if it's the 2 or the 3. And I'm just kind of plugging along. The bottom, it's bottom up, mosaic color work, really simple pattern that you follow for 18 inches. So I'll be on this piece for a while, but I really like it. Okay, that was total chaos. Never ring the doorbell at my house, never. Anyway, okay. Hopefully no more interruptions. Anyway, as I was saying, the Trinigan. It looks kind of purple here. There's a lot of ribbing, 2x2 ribbing. It was a tubular cast on, which I have totally made friends with ever since I made the Cozy Classic cardigan, which is a Jessie Maid design. Come here, come here. Don't be upset. Come here, come here, come. Okay. She has a tubular cast on for that crew neck sweater, which is also just an amazing pattern. One of my favorite sweaters. And she has a great tutorial. It's like, you should check it out. It's on YouTube. It's a really simple, it has to do with just like wrapping. I think it's actually a crochet cast on and then yarn overs. So it is my friend now. Okay, are you gonna sit down? Sit down. You're silly. This is Juno. This is Juno. He's a good guard dog. So this is super interesting, and I'm glad that I'm working on an Andrea Mowry project because she recently posted a tutorial on combination knitting, which I'd heard the term, but I had no idea what it was. And if you'll notice, a lot of people use combination knitting apparently for ribbing, to get a really tidy ribbing. My ribbing is not tidy at all. In fact, so I am a continental knitter now, or a Norwegian style knitter. And because of that, my purl stitches are really like a lot happens in that purl stitch, and I use a lot more yarn. So combination knitting is a different method of purling a stitch where instead of wrapping the yarn over the needle, you're actually just pulling it underneath. Now, this means there's a twisted stitch, so when you come back, you're gonna have to knit through the back loop. Whatever. I started knitting swatches using this combination knitting technique, and it has, number one, it has totally changed the gauge, like on my swatches. Everything is much neater. Everything is like more dense, tidy, tighter. I'm a very, very loose knitter, and the Norwegian knitting just even made it looser. Anyway, so if you have not tried combination knitting, especially I think for flat knitting, stockinette, or it's incredible. Like, I just can't wait to have ribbing so I can employ it there. It's just amazing. I actually knit several swatches because I have cast on another shawl. The shawl that I've cast on is not a new shawl. It is called the Laneus shawl. The designer is Teti Lutsak. She's a Ukrainian designer. She makes a lot of beautiful shawls as well as incredible colorwork sweaters. There's a very brand new one that just came out today, I believe, but also, or yesterday. But she released, I think the month before, the Paulina pullover, which is so beautiful. I really want to make it. And I think it's made, it's a great pattern for Nutiden. So anyway, same designer, different shawl. I realize I don't have a photograph of it, but I will just show you sort of the schematic photo and it might ring a bell. Otherwise, look up Laneus shawl and I will absolutely link the Ravelry pattern. And there are many gorgeous options, projects that I've seen on there. So this is the shawl, it's like a crescent and it has some cables and some lace and some color work. These are like small flower motifs that are achieved by bringing the yarn forward, knitting, and then bringing the yarn back, the contrast back, which is, I think, called Rusamine. It's cool, and it's also what is in the Junko Okamoto sweater, bouquet, the bouquet sweater. Anyway, so I was just swatching up a storm. I'll just show you, I'll show you my colors, because my cast on is very small. Just happened to be last night. I'm not even sure which is the front and the back. I think this is the front. So it starts with a garter tab, cast on. And that's just my sweet little beginnings. And I'm starting with, so a lot of people on Ravelry, a lot of the projects that I looked at for the Laneus shawl are done in Nutiden. And that was definitely a contender in my brain, but I think I had tried that last year or even the year before, and I didn't like it. The yarn was breaking that I chose. It is a fingering, and I guess that's a DK weight. So I was really struck by and drawn to those people who had knit it in kind of a fade and then had a very strong contrast for the flower blossoms. So these are my colors. And this is also stashed. So, you know, like I said, this might be a very shawl heavy year because I am working on all the shawls. Excuse me. This is a Farmer's Daughter Fibre sock, I believe from the summertime. And I'm holding it with this very pale, pale, pale pink. And I'm pretty sure this is Drops. I think it's Drops. Kid silk. Originally bought for a different shawl. So I'm starting with this. Then I'm gonna kind of fade it. Okay, I've been dying to use this color ever since I got it. Look at this color. You probably all know this color. I think it's called Grello or Vintage Grello. This was a gift from Julia. We both participated in the La Mercerie sock yarn exchange, and this was my gift, and holy cow, did she just hit it on the nail. And so I'm using, this will be like my fade, it'll fade into this, and I'm holding it with this, I believe it's also silk mohair. Do I even have a tag? These are older things. Oh wait, Drops, kid silk. I don't know if that showed up, but Drops Kid Silk. And this color is number 30. Anyway, so these two are paired together, and I'm going to show you the swatches in a second. So that's going to be after those guys. It's going to be this guy. And I'm going to do like the Stephen West fade where you're kind of alternating between the colors so there isn't, you know, a stripe, essentially, a striped effect. And then my last color, which might change because I can't really find anything to pair it with that I think does it justice. This is like a weirdo random skein. I think this is Dream in Color. Butterfly BFL. Fingering weight, 100%, no, 80% blue-faced Leicester, 10% cashmere, 10% silk. Holy smokes. And like, look at these colors. Oh Lordy, so gorgeous. So I have done some swatching and I just wasn't happy with a lot of the mohairs that I put together. And it might be that I just used the golden yellow here, because that was sort of the best of all the options. I don't want it to have no mohair because that would look really like the oddball, but let me show you the swatches. Okay, these are my tidy swatches, by the way. I'm not a great swatcher, people. I don't swatch the big squares. So essentially, I'll show you the colors in their order. This one's a little bigger because I was working with a few different kinds of mohair, but honestly, I don't know. I think it'll probably be the golden one. So I am super excited about this. I love this shawl, and wait till I show you the contrast. Okay, contrast is the best part. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this up with the contrast. I'm gonna try really hard to hold this up with the contrast. So here are my three main colors. And here, can you see? Yeah. And then this is gonna be my flower, the bright blue. There is a lot of blue in the Vintage Grello. I don't know if I can do this. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. So yeah, and I'll have lots of the blue left, thankfully. But this blue, I just want to wear this blue around. Anyway, so I'm very excited. That is the Laneus shawl by Teti Lutsak, and I will be sure to link that below. And what else? Oh, I just wanted to share one last thing, which is this beautiful new book that I received. I pre-ordered this book. It is called Nomad Knits. It's published by Amarisu, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Amarisu or their publications, but this is not the first book I've gotten from them, and they are just so beautifully done. And they've been previewing a lot of the patterns on Instagram, and I just went a little bonkers. And for example, can you see that? That's a wrap that is just insanely gorgeous. And all these patterns are actually knit with a very particular wine. Did I just say wine? My God, a very particular yarn. Jeez, I don't even drink wine. And that is basically what the sort of the theme of the book is. Look at this beautiful shawlette. I'm pretty sure this is like a Mongolian yarn that is very high in like the soft yak. Let's see. Some of it is pure wool. Some of it is made with camel, yak wool. So pretty cool. And there is another sweater. There is a colorwork sweater that I think, I mean, it's been around a lot on the internet, so perhaps you've seen it, but it's this one. And I just think that is just stunning. So there's like 3 things I would like to knit from here. Yeah, Nomad Knits, a collection with Nomad Knits, which is the yarn producer. So, there is something else, but I don't know. Have I been talking for too long? And it's really nothing. I'll just show it really quickly, I guess, because it's on my list. I made another swatch. This swatch is with Farmer's Daughter Fibre's Foxy Lady and an old Stash Dive from Sweet Nesting. This is, did I say it was Foxy Lady? It's a single, it's extremely soft. So these two were knit into this little swatch, combination knitting. It's such a pretty fabric that comes up. It's like really soft, all kinds of sweet pastel colors. And I learned about a Japanese designer named Miki Teragaki. Again, I'm going to link her below. And I learned of this Japanese designer through an amazing podcast that I think everyone who's here should watch and would be very engaged if you haven't heard of it already. So Aimee, the founder of La Aimee, she has started a channel called Aimee's Knit Lab. And she does a lot of interviews with designers, specifically from a lot of her books that she has collaborated to make. So I think there was a recent episode where she was just interviewing her people that she met in Japan when she was there recently this year. And so this was one of the, I got to see some of the designs that this designer had made. People were wearing it. And this is a beautiful collar. It's called the Cantabile collar. It's, I wish I had a photograph, but I'm gonna link to everything. The pattern is on Ravelry. So I'm gonna make just a very simple, sweet collar. You know, sweet little accessory. And I find, like when I'm doing a large project, if I have a smaller project that's more likely to get finished in a relatively short period of time, that's kind of a good way for me to, well, it's not exactly monogamous, but it's a good way to keep me going. And I seem to have like really turned a corner in terms of like casting on every single thing that I want to knit, to like really keeping it to like a big project and a little project. That is working for me. I think I always have to have a shawl because like I am working on the Trinigan, but it's a little monotonous. Maybe that's why she uses the color changing yarn, because that's really the fun part. For me, this is I just can't wait to have it because I know I'm gonna wear it all the time. Anyway, check out Aimee's Knit Lab. It is engaging. I have learned so much, and it's just, she's very warm, and yeah, it's just cool to meet all these designers and kind of learn their origin stories and how they came up with particular patterns that she has, you know, featured in the collaborative books that she's put out. So yeah, I think that is my knitting story for today. I did post some photographs from the desert this weekend. I am very fortunate in that I belong to an art salon. And so it is a handful of local women, artists, and we try to gather in some form monthly. The facilitators are amazing and very well organized. So this past weekend was a retreat that was in the desert in a place called 29 Palms. And it just could not have been a more beautiful weekend. It was cold, so I got to wear shawls and sweaters, but not too cold. So we did a ton of hiking. I did a little bouldering. I actually like have a pain in my knee from climbing up these huge rocks. Sometimes I forget how old I am. Anyway, I'm definitely feeling it in my knee, but whatever. It was great. It was fun. I got to climb up to where this archway was, so, you know, it was all good. Yeah, so I really was like infused with nature and creativity and delicious food, believe it or not. There we found some incredible food, and it was just the camaraderie and the shared, just sort of feeding off of each other. The creativity that was shared is, it's very special, and I do not take it for granted. So that was really just a great weekend. I got filled up, let's say. So yeah, I wanted to ask before I leave, I want to create a Zoom invitation, and I want to know who would like to participate in that Zoom. And I'm trying to figure out like the timing because I know some of you are across the pond. So let me know if you're interested. you could just do like raise your hand in the comments. And if I will not ask for your email on YouTube, but I will ask that you send me your email address through messages on Instagram. And I will keep all of that private, but I am thinking the very end of February, first part of March. We can talk about the Pierre Affair cow, which is still running, by the way. It's a beautiful, I've seen so many beautiful shawls, and I know some folks are planning to make the sweater. So I would love, we're gonna revisit that and just talk about that and show and tell and whatevs. But also just really because I would love to see all of your faces and, you know, kind of have like a meet and greet. So if that feels appealing, please let me know. I'm gonna organize it. Like, it is gonna happen even if I have only 1 or 2 people. So send me your emails and I will put out the date and the time as soon as I figure it out. Okay, that's it. Happy Thursday, which I guess is kind of the new Friday if you're going out. Let me know what you're making. I love hearing from all of you. So thank you for responding and engaging in that way. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I will catch you on the next one. All right, take care.